Right, good citizen news. I have some documents regarding his criminal trespass case. I'd normally start with the criminal aspects, but I'm going to start with his affidavit of financial condition. Now, I've redacted the names of his spouse and child, although, of course, it is out there as a public document. As we flip up the page, and I believe he's been open about his family, Good Citizen News has 3 children under the age of 5. Now, I thought he was a welder, but there's nothing about welding on this form. He describes himself as part-time employed by an entity called Good Citizen News. He doesn't have a supervisor, but he's been employed by this entity for a year and a half. You'll see he only has cash in hand of $10.02 and has no other money. His monthly outgoings on rent and insurance are $500, and on clothes and food, $400. He lists a total income of $300. We obviously had $900 expenses, so somehow he's living with a deficit of $600 a month. He has said that he can afford $100 for bond within 24 hours. And of course, he signed this form, this affidavit, and immediately above his signature is the fact that falsifying the information is a criminal offence. Now, I'm not calling him a liar, but the final thing on this form is that he is asking for a public defender. I trust you US taxpayers are happy to finance this guy's life. Now we have the charging document. They have used a small font on this, so it's probably best if I read it rather than to try and zoom across the page. So, Austin Lewis, misdemeanor charge, criminal trespass. First setting date is 30th of August. In the name and by authority of the state of Texas. Before me, the undersigned Assistant District Attorney of Harris County, Texas. This day appeared the undersigned affiant who, under oath, says that he has good reason to believe and does believe that in Harris County, Texas, Austin Lewis, hereinafter styled the defendant, heretofore on or about August 22nd, 2022, did then and there unlawfully, intentionally and knowingly enter and remain in a building of another, namely, I've redacted, without the effective consent of I've redacted, after having received notice to depart and failing to do so, against the peace and dignity of the state, signed by the affiant and the Assistant District Attorney. Now, I will say that the name that I redacted, the auditors are bound to say, well, a name can't own the Social Security building, but of course they don't understand. The name is the authorised individual who can trespass. I also have the charging information document, but it doesn't really add anything to the previous document. Next, we have the motion for sufficient bail made by the state. And as you will see, the state notes the previous charge in Harris County that he faces and is asking for a bond of $5,000. That is 50 times the amount Good Citizen News said he could pay, or even 5 times if we just take the 10%. But of course we know he'll be able to pay $500. The state's motion for bond conditions is also quite interesting. No contact with the complainant or the complainant's household, and also he can't go back to the Social Security office. I've redacted out the complainant's name again. State requests that the defendant not possess any firearms, ammunition or other weapons. State requests the defendant submit to random urine analysis. State requests the defendant be prohibited from using, possessing or consuming any alcohol, controlled substance, dangerous drug or Mary Jane unless prescribed pursuant to a lawful prescription issued by a medical doctor. Just looking at when his next hearings will be, and it says the 30th of August on his case at the moment, but there'll be a bond hearing probably sometime by tomorrow, and no doubt the auditors will bail him out. Now I'm going to finish with a conversation with Giuseppe, who was at the Pasadena Police Department yesterday trying to bail him out.
Yes, ma'am. I would like some information about somebody that was arrested earlier today.
You mean yesterday? What's his name?
His first name is Austin. He was arrested at the Social Security office in Pasadena.
Well, I'm afraid you're at the wrong place. He is now down at county. Thank you for watching. Good night.